Have you ever noticed how a single tiny critique can completely ruin your day? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating, frankly kind of cruel psychological mystery. Why does criticism hurt so deeply? Why is human biology wired to obsess over the negative, even when you're literally surrounded by success? Let's figure it out. Picture this. You get 100 glowing compliments today. People are telling you your work is brilliant, your outfit is fire, you are absolutely crushing it. But then, one person, just one, drops a tiny, sideways insult. Which one of those voices is going to be echoing in your head at 2 a.m. tonight?
Yeah, we both know the answer. It's the criticism. You're going to replay it, dissect it, maybe even carry that one offhand remark with you for years. But why? Are we all just overly sensitive? Or is there an ancient, hardwired survival instinct secretly running the show?
Just one, a single negative comment can disproportionately tip the scales, completely erasing dozens, even hundreds of positive ones. In this explainer, we're going to decode exactly why your brain clings to that negativity, and more importantly, how you can actually stop it from hijacking your confidence. To get to the bottom of this, we have to rewind the clock tens of thousands of years. Our prehistoric ancestors lived in small, tightly knit tribes where survival depended completely on the group. No grocery stores, no hospitals, no police. If your tribe kicked you out, surviving predators in the freezing cold alone was practically impossible. So being accepted wasn't just a fun confidence boost, it literally kept you alive. And here is where we hit a massive evolutionary glitch. For early humans, a threat was a literal predator or total starvation. So the brain evolved to treat any sign of tribal disapproval as a literal life-or-death emergency. Fast forward to today, and that exact same primitive alarm system is still firing, but now it's triggered by incredibly low-stakes modern events. Your brain is reacting to a passive-aggressive reply-all email or a weird comment on your social media with the exact same biological intensity as a saber-toothed tiger attack. So, knowing our environment has completely transformed, why do those negative words still stick to us like glue? Why does your highly evolved brain insist on replaying that one trivial modern insult instead of just soaking in the 10 compliments you got on the exact same day? The answer actually lies in hard evolutionary science. It's a phenomenon called the negativity bias. Basically, it's the brain's natural, automatic tendency to give way more attention to potential threats than to positive experiences. This isn't a glitch in your personality. It is a highly effective, built-in survival feature of your mind. Think about the harsh logic of evolution for a second. If an ancient human forgets where they found a delicious bush of sweet berries, sure, it's annoying, but they'll survive. But if they forget where a leopard attacked them last week, that is fatal. Evolution heavily favored brains that remembered danger vividly, because remembering danger is what kept your ancestors breathing. Because of that deeply ingrained history, your brain today practically equates criticism with physical danger. Even when the feedback is just standard, everyday workplace advice, your nervous system tags that negative information as an urgent, life-threatening crisis. And that intense, flashing red light in your mind is exactly why a casual piece of criticism can haunt your thoughts for months. Let's look at how this plays out in real life. Imagine you just delivered a massive presentation. 20 people rush up to you afterward to tell you that you crushed it. You're riding high. But then, one guy pulls you aside and mutters, "Yeah, I wasn't impressed." Boom. Your entire thought process is hijacked. The praise completely vanishes, and that one single quote just aggressively takes over your entire reality. This hijack happens because of your brain's deep-seated confusion. It genuinely struggles to separate helpful, constructive criticism from total, devastating social rejection. Logically, someone not liking your slide deck isn't a threat to your physical survival. But your emotional circuitry was built in a world where losing social standing meant losing everything. Because of that biological mix-up, you get hit with a massive emotional aftermath. We're talking a sudden wave of embarrassment, a massive spike in anxiety, or this deep, sinking feeling of shame. And honestly, the wildest part about all of this, you can feel these intense emotions even when your logical brain knows the criticism is actually totally valid and useful. And of course, it rarely stops there. The external criticism might be over, but that's exactly when your inner critic wakes up and takes the wheel, kicking things off with one nagging, immediate question. Wait, what if they're right? Before you know it, your mind is spinning completely out of control. The anxiety starts stacking up, the inner critic starts projecting into the shadows, asking, what if everyone thinks that? What if literally everyone has been secretly judging me this entire time and I just didn't know it? And then comes the ultimate fear. What if I fail again? It traps you in this exhausting, rapid-fire spiral of overthinking. But here is a really fascinating way to reframe this. That inner critic isn't actually trying to torture you. Your brain is just obsessively trying to predict future mistakes. It's basically a clumsy, highly misguided attempt to protect you from future pain by imagining every single thing that could possibly go wrong.
So how on earth do we fix this? Well, the absolutely crucial first step is learning to distinguish between the two distinct types of feedback. Destructive criticism attacks your character, it's vague, and quite frankly, it's just meant to hurt. Constructive criticism, on the other hand, focuses on your behavior and offers specific suggestions to help you level up. Your brain is going to instinctively freak out at both at first, but consciously separating them is an absolute game changer.
When that criticism hits, you need to execute what we call the crucial pause. Force yourself to ask 3 things. Is this feedback specific? Can I actually learn something from it? Or is it literally just someone else's opinion? Asking these questions creates a mental buffer. It gives your logical, highly evolved thinking brain a desperately needed second to catch up before your ancient, emotional brain can hit the panic button. So here is your actionable, step-by-step process for handling criticism without totally losing your confidence. Step 1, pause, just like we talked about. Step 2, separate the message from your actual identity. And step 3, mine it for useful information while aggressively ignoring any unnecessary hostility. You don't need to completely eliminate your emotional reactions. That's impossible. You just need to manage them with this structured process. Which brings us to a massively important emotional takeaway that I really want you to hold on to. Making a mistake doesn't mean you are a mistake. True confidence doesn't come from a life with zero criticism. Every single expert, athlete, artist, and leader on earth gets criticized. Unshakable confidence comes from knowing that criticism simply does not define your inherent worth. So the next time you feel that hot, familiar sting of negative feedback, I want you to completely flip your mindset. Instead of agonizing over the insult, step back and scientifically ask yourself, what is my ancient brain trying to protect me from right now? Almost always, it's just your biology trying to keep you safely connected to the tribe. And once you realize that, the invisible threat completely vanishes. And that clarity is what allows you to fully embrace this incredibly powerful truth. Growth requires feedback, not perfection. When you separate the danger from the data, you can actually start to listen to advice, take what is useful, and leave the rest in the dust, all without letting it control you. I want to leave you with a question to really ponder today. What's the most valuable piece of criticism you've ever received, and how did it change your trajectory? Because when we stop looking at criticism as a deadly threat and start seeing it as a raw tool for growth, it changes absolutely everything. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.